Hey, good afternoon. This is Mark Wharton, Stormwater Professionals Group, with another exciting episode of What Were They Thinking? So, hey, the idea here is we want to become better designers and we want to become better constructors. And so we're going to take a look at some detention ponds and some different stormwater quality features, some ideas for erosion control, and talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. So this is actually a recap. This is one that we've already looked at, and we looked at it before it was repaired. Now I want to be crystal clear that we did not, I repeat, we did not perform this repair. This is the original scope. So this customer was a cold call. They called in off of the website, and they just needed another bid, right? So this happens pretty typically. They provide us with a scope. Somebody gave them the scope. It's a terrible scope. We looked at the scope, which was actually what was built here, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but we provided them with an alternate scope that was totally different than this. The idea being that, so what we have here, the problem we have is these curb cuts. You can see that the engineer decided that it would be a better idea than putting inlets in. Let's just make these curb cuts and let the water pay out into the pond. But the problem is you get erosion, serious erosion. I'm going to show you some of this that hasn't even been repaired in conjunction with this work. You can see this area right here. The problem, the reason the customer got concerned is that this sediment is starting to get eroded away from under the road, which will mean loss of the road eventually, and that's not going to stop. This repair was totally inadequate for that purpose. Putting riprap on and this, by the way, is 3x5 crushed concrete, which is typically used for construction exits. That's about all that it's really good for anyway. The idea here is they think that this is going to stop the erosion, but it's not. We're going to come back to this and look at it in another several months. We looked at this initially a few months ago. I have video of that. You'll be able to see some of that footage. But I just wanted to recap how terrible this grading is and how ineffective this is going to be for our purposes. You can see that we really haven't fixed any of the undercutting erosion problems. In fact, we've created more problems because, well, look at this one here. You can see that this was never repaired. This is just going to keep going. This is going to get worse and worse. There's a, look, I'm going to pull this is just a rock here, but I can put my hand all the way in here. That's just going to continue to erode. These rocks, see them sitting on the floor here? This rock is too small to actually hold the water back. The water's going to push the rocks out of the way because it's just too much force. And what that'll do is those rocks will eventually migrate down here into the bottom of the pond and become a nuisance for anybody trying to mow it. I would never mow this pond. It'll just destroy my equipment, and it's not worth it. And so if they can get somebody to do it, more power to them, but it wouldn't be me. You could take a look at how they just added rock all around to the curb cuts. Pretty ridiculous. And then down in here, let me take you and show you where the outfall structure is. When you regrade a pond, first of all, you always have to regrade the whole pond. Well, I'd say always, but most of the time it makes more sense. You can't get a smooth transition unless you just regrade the whole thing. Leaving this small patch in the bottom is pointless. It'll probably, from the looks of it, just from my eye, I can see that it's probably going to be a water holding area, and I'm going to bet that we'll see cattails in this pond next time we visit it. Now over here, why you put rock on top of a pipe like that is no purpose. It's not holding anything down. That pipe was in a pretty good place. I don't know what the point of that was. And then this is an interesting idea. So thinking about erosive flows coming into the pond, they put this product is actually not designed for this purpose, and I don't even know why it's here, but this is a erosion control. This is a mat that you would use as a paving alternative, right? It's a kind of a flexible paving. So you put this, actually it's upside down. You would put this thing in the other way so that the cups were facing up, and then infill it. But for our purposes, what they thought was this would do something for erosion control, but I don't know. That just seems silly to me. And then you've got this, you got standing water. You got this terrible cut over here that this grading is awful. It's a get what you pay for situation. You can see over here, straight in front of me, there's a hump. So the ground here goes across, and then right here it starts to rise up. I'm walking uphill now, and then we're gonna go back down. And then you can see this wet spot right here. This is all gonna become cattail mess ultimately. You can see that this is all being held back. The water can't flow. This was improperly graded. So nothing good happened here. In fact, the customer just wasted a bunch of money, if you ask me. Now, you don't have to ask me. We'll come back and look at it in a few months. I won't do anything to it. I won't touch it. I won't candy coat it for you. I'm just going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly, like I said. And so we'll take a look at it again. But the grass isn't growing. I don't know that it ever will. They're trying to spray it. You know, they're trying to use some sprinklers out here, but not very effective. So that's it. And we'll revisit this soon. Thanks for your time.